You will not find two homeschools that look the same. Let's start at the beginning. Coffee time. I have changed our schedule countless times. I tried to keep our lessons to under 1 hour a day.
6.
Yes. High five.
That's 6.
How I plan our homeschool day. Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I wanted to come on today and talk to you guys about how I plan our homeschool day and what that looks like for us. So I want to put out a little disclaimer first that every family is so unique and you will not find two homeschools that look the same. Every single family homeschools so differently, and there are so many ways to do homeschooling. That's the beauty of it, that you can really cater it to your family's needs and to your child's needs and to what's gonna work best for your life. So let's start at the beginning and what I have found works best for my daughter during this first year of homeschooling. So for our first year of homeschooling, we decided to homeschool year-round. If you've watched my other couple of videos, my Get to Know Me, my How I Decided to Homeschool, you'll know that I was pretty scared to start homeschooling and I wanted some leeway to be able to just have more time and flexibility to dabble in the homeschool world and figure out what worked best for us. And I have changed our schedule countless times during this first year of homeschooling. But what I found works best for us so far, that is, I always plan that things can change. You have to be super flexible with homeschooling, but we are homeschooling year-round, and I chose to do that also because I am a working homeschool mom and I need that flexibility. My work schedule is way more busy, way more full during the kind of late spring to fall time. I work a lot, and my schedule is a little more freed up during the winter. So being able to homeschool year-round just allows us tons of flexibility, no rush on anything. And I also really wanted to homeschool year-round because I am really trying to instill a love of learning for my children. I don't want there to be this summer break that my children are just looking so forward to because they just want to get out of school. They don't want to be in school anymore. That is why I decided to homeschool. I don't want my children to feel that way. I want learning and life to be one and the same, ever flowing, ever continuous. And I want to have children that grow into adults that love learning. If you love to learn, you can teach yourself anything. And that's why I chose to homeschool year-round also. So with that being said, we are homeschooling roughly 4 days a week. That's what I've found works best with our schedule. I work from home most days of the week, and I work outside of the home generally 2 to 3 days out of the week. So doing a 4-day-a-week schedule has worked really well for us. So I homeschool on the days that I work from home or that I am off, and then I don't homeschool the days that I work outside of the home. And that's just been working really, really good for us. I've played around with it a ton this first year. I tried 3 days a week, I tried 5 days a week, and we've kind of have settled in at about 4 days a week, and we really love it. So it's going really good. My daughter is still only 5 right now. She's almost 6. She's gonna be 6 in about a week, but we are doing kindergarten still. So kindergarten, elementary school education does not take a lot of time. It should only be taking, I mean, it depends on the age of your child, but if you are doing like preschool to kindergarten, like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, an hour a day. So right now I try to keep our lessons to under 1 hour a day while we're doing kindergarten. And I honestly expect our lesson time to not exceed 2 hours until my kids are like junior high age. And at that point, so much of their learning, their education becomes a lot of independent work, and we'll be outsourcing a lot at that time, and it doesn't require so much on the parent. But that's what's so amazing about homeschooling, you guys. It is done in such a short amount of time. Kids sitting at school for 6 to 7 hours a day does not equal an education. School and education are not the same thing, and that is something I'm going to get into and talk about in a different video because I feel super passionate about that. But we do not take a ton of time to do these lessons. So I keep our lessons to about an hour a day. And how I have that structured is I have kind of created our like morning time, core subjects, and loop subjects. If you don't know what any of that means and it sounds like total gibberish to you, I get it, because I didn't know what any of that meant either before I started homeschooling. But basically, our morning time, you'll hear people in the homeschool world talk about morning time a lot. And I've kept ours very simple, but what morning time means is just kind of family gather around subjects that you all do together, and you do them at the beginning usually of your homeschool days, and those kind of lead into the course subjects. So for our morning time, I have picked for us to always do handwriting and our Bible study. And we will generally focus on handwriting for about 5 minutes and then do Bible study for 5 minutes. Coffee time, obviously. Beautiful letters. That's great, sweetie. I'm gonna start reading Bible now while you finish with your outlines, okay? Water in the desert. You, God, are my God. I seek you with all my heart. And then we will move on to our core subjects. For us, our core subjects are language arts, learning how to read, and math. And I will focus on language arts for about 15 minutes, and then we will move on to math for about 15 minutes. Let's do our language arts next. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready? Mm-hmm. This is going to say a sentence, okay?
Okay.
What do we have first? Good. The guy. Yes. Good. Yes. Beautiful.
Why buy a black clock?
Heck yeah, let's go. No, I'm just staring. Yeah, I'm just zoning.
Help.
Switch whole sentence.
Help.
We
Help.
help. Okay. Time for math. Let's start here.
Oh, this is 3.
0 is.
Oh, it equals 13.
Yes, equals 13. So go ahead and rewrite that.
But if it was 1, it would do 13.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Good.
It was 8.
4 plus 4 equals
8.
high five.
I thought 6 plus 6 was 8.
6 plus 6.
I thought 8 plus 8 was 6.
That's 16.
Oh.
8 plus 8 is 16.
Oh, I know 5 plus 5.
That's 5 plus 5.
10.
Good. And 10 plus 10 is, we talked about that one before too. 10 and 10 gives you 20.
Oh.
Yay. Okay, so go ahead and write 8. 4 plus 4 equals 8. Let's try some tally marks. What's that say?
2 plus 5.
How many tally marks is that?
4.
2 plus 4 equals. You gotta write it in tally marks.
I want to do 3 plus 3.
You can do that one first. Let's do this last one.
6.
Yes. High five. Good job, sweetie. And then I have chosen 4 subjects that we loop in. So what that means is I homeschool 4 days a week, and each one of those 4 days I am looping in one subject. So the loop-in subjects that I have chose for us is art, poetry, science, and a read aloud. We do tons of reading aloud already. We do that every night, but I kind of loop it in just for fun. Sometimes we get to it, sometimes we don't, but we're already always doing that. So it's not super critical that it gets done. I mean, none of this really is. This is homeschooling, and my daughter's only in kindergarten, and you do what works best for you and your family. Anthony quickly shut the door of the car and jumped up and down on the sidewalk. They can get so big, like 6.5 feet long.
How long is that?
That's big, that's taller than me. Lizards can't make their own body heat, so what do they need? What do they need to stay warm?
Light bulb.
Yeah, light bulb, a heat lamp, huh? So cute. So that is kind of how I have set up and structured our days. I also want to say there is just so much flexibility in our homeschooling. If we do our morning time and then move on to one of our core subjects like language arts, and my daughter wants to spend more time on reading, I will allow for that, and I will be flexible with that, and we might not get to math that day, and that's totally okay. That is what I love about homeschooling. There's no pressures. It's just moving at your child's pace, doing what they really enjoy. Obviously, we have to teach our children how to read. We have to teach our children how to do math. We need to teach these critical skills that they're going to need in their lives. But it should be fun, and I don't ever want to kill that joy of loving to learn that our children naturally have. So I am super flexible with our rhythm, is what I would call it. It's not even really a schedule. I do not have a planner. I don't plan anything out. It's just a rough rhythm. We do follow more of a Charlotte Mason approach to homeschooling. And if you don't know what that is, it's something that we can talk about more, but there's so many different pedagogies or learning styles. And what we know in like the public school system, private school system, that's just called traditional schooling. But there's so many other learning styles, so many other pedagogies. And I follow more of a Charlotte Mason approach, and that is incorporating lots of different types of lessons, or as Charlotte Mason called it, like a feast of learning that you're providing for your children, and breaking those down into small segments. So usually like 10 to maybe 20, 30 minutes at the most of a subject. In these younger years, leaning way more towards the shorter end of those time frames. And that is really what we focus on. We do lots of living books and reading aloud. We love doing nature studies, spending time outside. And that is kind of where our focus is. I do not plan lessons. For me and my personality, I would go crazy if I said, okay, on Monday we're doing lesson 67 of language arts and 67 of math. And then all day on Monday trying to get to that and get the whole lesson done. It puts way too much pressure on your child. It puts way too much pressure on the parent, and it really overworks our children. And that is not the kind of homeschool mom that I want to be. You have to do what's going to work best for your family, and if that works good for your family, that's awesome. But it's not what works for mine, and I focus more on time-based instead of lesson-based. Now, with that being said, just because I'm saying we're going to do like 15 minutes of language arts, 15 minutes of math, that doesn't mean we can't go over that or go under it. If I can tell my daughter is just like totally checked out and she's just, this is not going good, she's not learning anything, I will stop a lesson and I will either give her a play break and we'll try to come back to it later, or we will just scratch it for the day and try again tomorrow. Our children are just like us, and sometimes they just don't want to do stuff, and that's okay. We have to push our children and guide them. But like I said, I don't want to kill that love of learning, especially in these young years. There's no need to put so much pressure on it. Our children are going to learn what they need to learn as long as we, as the parents, are diligent with what we are doing and placing in front of our children what they need to learn and helping them with it. They're going to learn what they need to, and it doesn't need to be so much pressure and just so stressful, which I know it can be because I really felt that heavy when I started homeschooling. And speaking of time-based learning, I think when you're thinking to yourself, I don't know how long my child should take on handwriting, I don't know how much time I should spend on math, I think it's really important to start homeschooling and fill your child out. Each child is so unique, so beautiful, and what's going to work for one child is not going to work for another. You need to see what your child's attention span is, what they really love learning, how much they can handle of a certain lesson, and go from there. I really try to stop the lesson just a little right before I can tell my daughter is completely checked out. So for us, I've just found that sweet spot to be roughly 15 minutes. Sometimes it can be like 10, sometimes we do 20. I usually don't let it go more than 20 unless it's like a fun game and she wants to keep playing it or something like that. But I'm a busy mom too, and I can't be homeschooling all day and doing crafts all day, that sort of thing. We have to teach our children how to be independent also, how to play on their own, how to do crafts on their own. But I would definitely say just fill out your child, listen to them, and see what works best for them when you're trying to figure out time frames if you think that would work really good for your family also. It's also so normal to have to readjust your schedule many times throughout the year when you're homeschooling. I have readjusted our schedule, oh my gosh, I don't even know, probably at least 10 times, maybe more than that, because especially when you're a new homeschooler, this is so foreign, this is so new. You've never done this before, no one's taught you how to do this. So we all went to school and it's such a learning curve. And it's okay to change your schedule so many times, change your plan so many times, reconfigure what you're doing so many times. I started one way. I started with actually like planning lessons by the day and then quickly realized this is way too stressful. That's not going to work for me. And I readjusted and I finally kind of found what fits for our family right now. But that will change again once we start different curriculum, start adding different things in. And with each grade, it's really good to just kind of readjust, reevaluate, and be flexible with what you're doing and know it's okay to change your schedule a lot, even every like 3 to 6 months or less. I want to close out by saying I wanted to make this video because I had a really hard time finding videos like this when I was trying to learn more about homeschooling. I would find the videos that I could find were very intimidating. Everyone just does homeschooling so different, and the way I was watching some other people do homeschooling made it feel like, whoa, I could never do that for my family. So I hope that my video really shows you like some insight into what this can look like and how flexible it can be, and that it doesn't need to be stressful at all. That's the main point I'm trying to get across here, is homeschooling is just living and doing life with your child. It doesn't need to be rigid. It doesn't need to have a ton of pressure on it. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. Our children are imperfect. And we need to allow so much flexibility in our homeschooling, because that's what's going to make us feel super joyful to do it with our children. And that's what's going to instill that love of learning in our children as well. I also want to say the most important part here is to do not compare your homeschool or how you are homeschooling to anyone else. And I mean anyone. You are unique. Your children are unique. And the way that you are homeschooling and how you have found it works best for your family is what's going to work best for you and your family. And when we start comparing ourselves to others, it really stills our joy away. It stills our confidence. And it makes us unhappy with what we're doing and how we're homeschooling. So don't compare yourself. Know that you are the best possible person to teach your child. No one is going to love them like you are. And no one can do this the way you're doing it. You will fight for their success. You will stand up for them, and you will be the one cheering them on the whole time. Thank you so much for being here today. I appreciate it so much. Please leave comments below of what you would like to see, what you would like me to talk about, any homeschool questions you have. And you know, I really create this content because I do not want you to feel alone, especially on this homeschool journey. It can feel so lonely sometimes, and I want you to know I am right here with you. I want you to leave me comments below. I want to build a community with you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.